Hello and welcome to Seismic Cinema. I know this doesn't sound like Colin, that's a bit weird. I'm hosting for a change. It's been about 70 odd episodes since I've been in the driving seat. And a bit like the mobile infantry on Clondathu and our dismembered bodies, I'm going to be all over the place. And joining me tonight, we have James, aka Hank from Breaking Bad. I think that's a wee nod to the man in charge of the training camp. We'll get to that later on. And we have Colin, who's usually in charge of this endeavour, and he is Dr. Carl Stinson. Do you want to tell us that your reference? It's How I Met Your Mother?
It's a mix of Barney Stinson's name and Carl Jenkins from this movie.
Yes.
As we all know, I'm a big How I Met Your Mother fan.
Well, it's good to be back on and talking to you guys about a movie. I think the last one we did was Ahsoka, and it's good to just be back talking movies with you.
Ahsoka's not a movie.
What's that?
Ahsoka's not a movie.
That's why I said it's good to be back talking movies.
I know, Colin, come on, pay attention.
Heckling over here.
See, you swap positions there because usually Colin's talking. I'm just like, you said that's wrong.
Yes.
A wee bit, as James put it, housekeeping in the last episode. So we are Seismic Cinema. If you want to follow us, thank you, Colin, for putting the banners up. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, aka Twitter, Threads, and TikTok. And if you don't want to miss another episode, please subscribe on all platforms. There we go. Follow on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere you find your podcast, really.
There are other ones, but those are the three that we get most of our hits on.
Sorry if that's just a terrible intro from me, guys. It's just the jitters of hosting. I'm usually just the parasite that sits at the back and just, like Colin does, heckles from afar.
You're the bug.
I'm the bug. So anyway, as part of our Out of This World October, this is the finale, as it were. Previously, we've done another Paul Verhoeven movie, Total Recall, which Colin and James did. It's a really good episode, by the way. Really enjoyed that. And in the middle of it all, we did a Ahsoka review, season 1 review, and that's doing pretty well as well. So this is the end of Out of This World of October. Out of This World of October.
It was you that made up the name, so you can't blame it.
It was. But I'm not done most of it, so I've not had to say it. So yeah, Starship Troopers, 1997. Paul Verhoeven, underrated kind of cult classic. I'm just going to go into a wee bit of background detail between all of us. And we know Colin, as per usual, he's fresh meat for the grinder. He has seen it for the first time tonight. Well, not tonight, he's seen it for the first time this week.
Yep.
And James is a returning veteran. So it's quite good to see the kind of different backgrounds.
Could you say James is a citizen?
James is a citizen. A battle-scarred citizen.
See, you can tell I've actually been paying attention to this one because I know all the references.
Yeah, so just want to tell you a bit of background from Starship Troopers, when you first seen that and what your initial thoughts were. James, about you.
Yeah. I seen that way back when, so I'm talking maybe, it came out in 97, didn't it? So I was maybe about 14 or so. When it came out, I got it and it was in tape, the old VHS. And I remember watching it and I thought, this is pretty good. I was kind of mesmerised by all the CGI and whatever, and it's a different concept from what I was kind of used to. So I enjoyed the film, when I first seen it, and every so often I do return to it. I hadn't seen it for a while now, to be fair. I went back to watch it for the review. I thought, damn, this is an amazing film, and the CGI, well, we'll go into it later on in the pod, but the CGI still holds up in my opinion. It's fantastic. But I loved it then, loved it now, so I enjoyed it.
Good. What about you, Colin? First time round the block?
Well, I did my usual. I knew when we were doing this, so I watched like an hour of it on Monday night, and then an hour of it on Tuesday night. But I started watching it quite late on Monday, so I was like, I'm getting too old to stay up late, so I decided to split it into two. And quite often that ruins my enjoyment of a film. But spoilers for later, it didn't happen this time. I did really enjoy this one. You'll be glad to know. So yeah, I kind of I'd heard of it. I didn't really know what it was about, and I was kind of put off. See the opening montage. I thought it was going to be like a pure cheesy, like old school sci-fi movie, and I'm really glad that in the next scene the kind of vibe changed quite a bit. So I was fearing the worst in those first couple of minutes. I was like, "Is this what the whole film's going to be like?" But obviously that wasn't the case.
Good. I'm glad because I've been kind of like you with Rebels and me. I've been kind of pestering about it and talking about it quite a lot, which is quite weird too because I'm pretty sure back in the day in your house you had a Starship Troopers dropship toy. I'm 100% sure of it.
What did it look like? I did have a few random sci-fi toys. I wasn't actually sure where they came from.
We'll see the dropship that they all land on, the planets.
Mm-hmm.
Are they called boats? I'm pretty sure you had one of them.
Right.
Which is funny.
We can follow that one up.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have it.
So I watched this last night. I finished watching it last night, and I done my usual. Try to get my girlfriend to watch it. She watched it with me. She absolutely hated it. So that's another one that's bit the dust that I love and she hates.
We need to get Scarlett on at some point. I think she'd be good value.
Probably, aye. But she kind of picks out the same stuff that I pick out, but I just kind of let it slide a bit more.
When did you first see it, Paul?
On me, I think I seen this, like saying James way back, probably a lot younger than I should have been watching it. And back then, I always didn't understand the undertones or the imagery of the whole movie. I just thought it was just a war film, basically, just a big war film, just guns, explosions, military. Like I'm a sucker for a military movie. And this was just right up my alley. I just never thought anything else of it. So yeah, it's quite interesting. Even watching it last night, I picked up a few things that I've not really picked up before. It's quite on the face of it, this film is quite simplistic and cheesy, but under the surface, it's like so complex and has so many weird layers to it. So I'm quite interested to get into it with these guys once we get into the main review. But I think Jamesy Boy has some seismic statements for us. Is that right? A few factoids for us just before we get into the main review.
I do, yes.
No pinching mine, by the way.
Well, I'm first. So
if you can read them.
Well, I'll not be able to read yours, that's for sure. So we're all right there. Right, okay, so apparently Paul Verhoeven, this is his favourite ever movie that he done, Starship Troopers, which is, to be fair, a wee bit of a surprise for me because I'm probably more partial to Total Recall than this film. But you know, it's a damn good film anyway. I think, Colin, I know which one you're going to go with, so I'll skip past that one. I've got. What else have we got here? The body count in the film was 256, apparently.
Just like Chopper.
256?
256, aye, that's what it says.
How many limbs?
I don't know. I'm not sure about the limbs.
I'm trying to think where that 256 is because
I'm just reading this. This isn't.
Yeah.
I didn't count it. This is
I suppose you do see like bodies not flying out of starships and stuff, so maybe all that kind of counts as well.
Talking about limbs, it's not really a seismic statement as such, but I just found it quite funny that, you know, what's his name, Michael Ironside's character had a missing limb in the teaching scene, and then you think back to Total Recall, and he lost his arms. Arnold Schwarzenegger in that film, so that was quite funny.
Connected universe.
Aye, always is. Always is. I'm lost in my seismic statements. I don't think I've got that many. Colin, I'll let you kind of take over from here.
Well, I did a wee bit of the kind of stat checking, which was quite interesting because they had a budget of between 100 and 110 million, but it only made 121 million, so it only made about 11 million profit, which is not great. But
it's a commercial bust.
I saw that there was a lot of criticism and controversy with the film when it first launched. I noted as well that this is probably quite well known that it's based on a novel from the 1950s.
Yeah, I think it's loosely based on a novel though. I think it's like in name only, and it steals some names, but other than that, it's not really anything to do with the film.
I think the writer. I read that the writer was writing the script for a film, not this film, but a film, and then they realized it was quite similar to the book, so they like kind of partnered up. But I think the writer of this film didn't really enjoy the book and got bored, so just kind of it was quite loosely based, as you said. I've got 5 kind of traditional seismic statements. I thought this one was quite funny. There's the famous shower scene.
Yep.
And apparently the director and the cinematographer, they did the scene naked.
Yeah, I'd heard that one before.
Help the cast to relax.
I think the cast weren't comfortable. The cast weren't comfortable doing it if they weren't going to do it.
Aye, because I think they said there's nothing to be scared of, and they're like, well, if there's nothing to be scared of, then why don't you do it? I think this is maybe the one James was going to mention, but skipped out on. Apparently, there's a miniature version of the Millennium Falcon somewhere on one of the starships.
Oh, is there? I need to find that.
James, we clearly didn't go very low down on IMDb because there was like pages and pages of like things. Number 3, I thought this was quite cool, and it actually got me thinking about something. The year that this was set in was like 2197, and it actually got me thinking. Like, it's kind of weird that we refer to this year as like 2023. Do you know what I mean? Instead of 2023, but never mind. So yeah, 2197. Number 4. What did I write? The actor that plays Rico, he actually did punch the Patrick. No, Patrick was the actor's name, but you know the guy, the pilot.
Aye.
Xander.
Aye. So he actually does punch him in the face in that scene. It wasn't like fake. He actually did it.
To be fair, he deserved it.
Which I thought was good. Do you know who he reminded me of, Paul? And the ages don't match up, and it isn't him, but he reminded me a wee bit of the investment banker Stu in the latter seasons of Suits. The black hair. No, okay. And number 5, the guy that plays Ace got heat stroke when filming in the desert, and they had to put large holes into his uniform to stop it from happening again.
Big old Jake Busey.
That's Gary Busey's son, isn't it? I didn't realise that. Aye.
He's doing quite a lot of stuff now.
I've got another seismic statement, just as I've seen it there. That's nominated for an Oscar. So it was.
No way.
It was nominated an Oscar for the visual effects. So not best.
To be fair, I could get behind that.
Aye, definitely, man. Do you know what I mean? But
aye, no, I think watching this, like, the arachnids just hold up so well. Like, between the practical and the CGI, like nowadays, like movies, if they had that kind of grand scale, it just looks horrendous. But this looks like it's 110 million worth of CGI.
Well, oh wait, I've got that down there somewhere. So apparently, half of the budget was spent on the creatures.
I can quite believe that, because it's the show. I think between that, extras, uniforms, I think that's what all the budget went on. It's quite crazy actually to think of the scale of this movie when you're seeing some of the scenes. Like, especially in the fighting scenes, like there's so many extras involved in this film. There's no CGI humans. It's just all the troopers are actual actors.
There you go.
And like James the Boy saying, probably quite a lot of them got killed off.
256 apparently.
Red shirt.
So is that all your seismic statements done and dusted?
Yeah, didn't want to overdo it. Plus, IMDb had a massive list of. There's a lot of trivia for this film apparently. If you look at IMDb, so I didn't have time to look through them all. But
No worries.
if people have additional trivia and they want to post it as a comment or send us it on Twitter or whatever, then do so.
Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to. So we're getting on with the review, and you're saying you're struggling at the start of it, Colin, because was it the newsreel at the start?
I wasn't struggling, but I thought it was like a old school Star Trekky kind of just sci-fi thing. It was sorry. Like I didn't really know much about it. The name of the movie makes it sound like it's just like cheesy sci-fi, but as you said, it's a lot deeper than that, and it does have some really good characters. Like usually I don't remember. Usually I struggle to remember characters' names if I've just seen a film once, but there's quite a few in this one, and I don't know, it keeps your attention like from start to finish. I would say I think it's quite well paced and keeps you invested.
Yeah, I would say so as well. The only part, like just kind of starting at the beginning, the part I struggled with probably most in the film was the kind of whole high school section. I kind of get a bit bored of it. I know it's meant to show like where they came from and where the relationships start, but I always find that section just the most kind of uninteresting part to me.
I like that bit.
Of course you would. What about you, James? What do you think about the whole high school?
Can I ask just a quick question? Why were they in Argentina? That's cool.
I think that's where the original book is maybe set. I'm not entirely sure. But I was thinking about this earlier on. I don't know if it's meant to make it sound as if like America's more global than just set in America, and as if like the whole world is more unified and mixed. So like the Federation is like a kind of everyone is part of the Federation. Everyone's like working to the same goal. I don't know if it's meant to make it as if it's seem more unified. You know what I'm trying to say?
Because it's just none of them have like Argentinian sounding names. So when they were talking about Buenos Aires, I'll probably say it wrong. It was a bit confusing at first.
Yeah. See, I never picked up this stuff when I was younger. Like, I never picked up that it was in Buenos Aires. Didn't really think about it at all whatsoever. See the opening scene in the classroom when Rico's like drawing these stupid pictures. I was always more focused on that than to actually listen to what the teacher was saying. And I listened to it back there. I didn't realise it was kind of just laying out the ground rules of what this kind of civilization was all about. Because he's saying that democracy failed, the veterans had to take over, and the only way you can get what you want is through violence. Like everything you need to do, you need to take by force. What is it Dizzy says? Dizzy says that her mum says you can never solve everything with violence or something.
That's right, aye.
And then Michael Ironside goes up to Carmen and is like, what would the fathers of Hiroshima say? And she's like smiling away going, nothing, because they got nuked, basically. And she's smiling away. It's a really weird reaction. But he's just laying out the ground rules for this civilization of like what they're all about. Like one of the first words out of his mouth is like democracy has failed. So it's just not a democratic world whatsoever.
I'll go back to your original question. Did I like the part in the school? I didn't really mind it, to be fair. I know where you're coming from, no, Paul. That it's because it's a war film. It is really a war film about military, isn't it? And you just want to get to the action, but there has to be a backstory. So I didn't really mind it, and it kind of set the scene between Dizzy as well and Rico, I think, and as well there's quite a lot between those relationships between Dizzy, Carmen, and Rico. There was quite a lot said there without saying anything at all. It was all done through looks and just nods of the head and whatever. So I did quite enjoy that bit. Also, did you notice as well when Rico was drawing the picture on the tablet that it actually said like Federation property? Everything was Federation posters everywhere. It was pure militarized, the whole place, the whole school. So I noticed that on the rewatch that these wee tablet was like property of the Federation or something like that.
No, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that at all.
But I didn't. What you're saying there, I still found myself watching the tablet and what he was drawing rather than listening to Michael Ironside talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've always done that. I only just listened to it now because we were doing this, and I was like, I should probably pay more attention. I was like, that's quite interesting. I've never picked it up before. It's actually just telling you what this whole world's about.
Aye. And they asked you a question, what's the difference between a citizen and a civilian? And all that sort of stuff. That's when you start to take notice what he's saying. But everything else, it's like, I'm too busy watching what he's drawing. And then the reaction you got off it as well. Do you know what I mean? But, aye.
What about you, Colin? Did you pick up on all the kind of anti-democratic rhetoric at the start?
Yeah, I was listening to it. I wasn't just paying attention to the pictures, unlike you guys. So something I picked up is that do you know how like to become, or if you became a citizen, you were able to vote and breed, I think was the wording. Because there's a bit later when they're all talking about why they signed up, and I think
In the shower.
And it's the redhead was saying that
I want to have babies.
She wants to have babies. So I didn't really piece those two bits together, but because I read a summary of the plot tonight because I'd only watched it once just to refresh my memory on a couple of things. And when it mentioned the breeding and voting, I was like, oh yeah, that's why she said that. So it's an interesting like world because you're just kind of thrown right into it, aren't you?
Yeah.
You don't know when it is at first. You don't know where they are. You don't know what's going on and the rest. It was kind of similar to Total Recall in the sense of you just get dropped into a position where people are going to Mars willy-nilly and fighting wars on Mars. There was a kind of similar vibe I felt at the start in a lot of ways.
I think what they call that is the equilibrium of the film is different. So I take it you've seen Seven, Colin? No. Have you seen Seven, Paul?
Have I?
So when you're first introduced to that film, it's like you're just put in place. There's not a true start, middle, and end. So you're just set. You're just in this actual film itself. So it's quite similar to that. It's not as bad as Seven, right enough, but there is a kind of plot line, if you know what I mean. No plot line, it's the wrong word I'm trying to use, but the equilibrium of the film is quite right in Seven, and like it's senses here as well that it's not quite right, and that's kind of what you're trying to say, I think, Colin, is you're just kind of falling right into it.
Yeah, that's good though. I think it creates a bit of urgency when you don't know everything.
Aye.
So what did you think of the society as a whole?
Who?
The
James.
society. I don't know. I don't like it. To be honest with you, it's get very well. Even it's like all the adverts. It's like it's got Total Recall and it's got RoboCop as well, but because it's the same director, isn't it? So he's got all these adverts, and it's like, oh, they get the military talking to the kids, they shooting the guns and all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to brainwash maybe strong, strong word, but they're trying to get the children signed up to the military as soon as possible, and I don't like that. That's kind of, there's choices to be had there, I think, and and there is quite underlying rather themes of being towards the Germans and the Nazis, in terms of how they try to get soldiers into the war quite early on, and the scene as well when you like on the adverts and it's get all the soldiers lined up. That's quite like Nazi Germany as well.
I think I heard somewhere that's like a shot for shot remake of a German propaganda film from World War II. Like this film is just one big propaganda advert, isn't it? Really?
Aye.
Because Rico's dad makes a comment, doesn't he, about the school being like a recruitment ground for the army.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because they've got all the posters everywhere and that. They've got all the. It's like it's the background. You can't see it because it's there. Do you know what I mean? It's in the subconscious, so it's definitely there. I don't like the whole society, if I'm honest with you, but I can't say I'm going to like it. Do you know what I mean? But it's obviously pivotal for the film. So I don't know. Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, like I'll be honest, I wasn't really. I think maybe because it was my first time watching it, I wasn't maybe looking at a lot of the kind of deeper lying themes. I was just more focusing on
the plot
what the story was. But now, obviously, retrospectively, I see a lot of that. I felt like a lot of the what I'm looking for, the like promotional videos, like they were played kind of humorous, but they were quite horrendous. Like the one where the horse was censored when they were taking it out and things like that.
Or the cow.
Ah, it was a cow, yeah, not a horse. Was
it?
Yeah.
And they're playing the bullets and that. They just handed out bullets to kids.
I know it was a kind of unique. It was quite a unique film in the sense of they kept just going back to those adverts and saying like, "Would you like to find out more?" And it kind of worked a bit. Like you did want to find out a bit more. Do you know what I mean? And that relates to the film as well. You want to find out more about the film. Kind of reminded me a wee bit of WandaVision. Do you know how it was kind of littered with? There was like an advert in each episode that linked into something to do with the plot as well.
Yeah, it's like a TV show. Yeah. Nah, I'm just finding it quite interesting. I'm just finding it quite interesting that Colin has picked the character that kind of embodied the whole fascist imagery in Carl. Quite interesting.
It's just because
that scene he just walks in as well. It's like okay.
Big
black trench coat. He's basically just an SS officer, isn't he?
It's just because it was Barney, to be honest. I think. I messaged you when I was watching it, and I just went Barney Stinson.
I'll tell you, isn't it? But he's picked that character.
He looks. I said to Paul that was him before he discovered suits. So I don't think he'd have been getting many dates with that haircut.
That's true.
It's a bit kind of supernatural in a sense, though, that he's like an actual psychic, isn't it? Like,
yeah. No,
it works in the context of the film because it's obviously
out there
far-fetched, but yeah, he's quite heartless, isn't he? Like it's all for like the greater good kind of thing. Like when he put them into the trap and stuff.
Aye. I don't understand why I wouldn't just tell him, or send a wee kind of mind thing to him to like. By the way, there might be more here.
Because I didn't catch that at the very point, but he obviously. It was him that, because Rico says it was you that told me where so-and-so was.
Aye, where Carmen was, when she crashed, because he was going to go left and he took her right instead. No, it was quite interesting, his uniform and the society as a whole. Like, all the uniforms in this are basically based on, like, German uniforms and stuff from, like, World War II. And like a kind of totalitarian military, society is just so weird. Like, because on the surface it looks like a kind of peaceful, everyone's working towards it, but then the more you watch it, like, it's really crazy. Like when they go to the swear in, and they're swearing in, it's so weird watching that. And even when you're listening to the words in the oath, it sounds really forced. Like, I will not back out. I will need to stay for 2 years. And there's even just like wee snippets. Like, his dad was like, "I'd rather take 10 lashes in public square." So obviously that must be like an actual thing, like an actual punishment.
That's foreshadowed, isn't it, in the actual film itself? Because he does get 10 lashes.
Oh, that's right. Aye. Oh, you got some foreshadowing.
I haven't noticed that one.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's was it the recruiting officer? He's like, mobile infantry made me what I am today, and he's like missing an arm and missing 2 legs, and that's just kind of showing you what the mobile infantry is going to be going through.
It's hard because it's obviously such a serious oath they're taking, but the characters they're just basically like teenagers, aren't they? They're just like wanting to go and get a career and like see their friends or see their person that they fancy. Like they're not really thinking about it in a serious level, are they? Like, so,
Yeah.
Like, is it, what's her name? Izzy? Is it not Izzy? Izzy? No.
Izzy.
Izzy. She just signed up because she fancied Rico and switched to the one that wanted children. And so they're not really thinking. That's probably why when they're doing their vows, it's quite horrifying because they don't really know what they're signing up for at that stage.
Yeah. So, see, out of all the characters, which one do you think had the best arc from like start to finish? You can go first, Colin, since you're the newbie.
Well, okay, an interesting one was I forgot his name. I talked about it earlier. The pilot guy,
Xander.
Yeah, because when you first meet him, like Rico's the protagonist, so you're prone to hate the guy that steals the girl. That's just a trope, isn't it? As old as time. But did you notice that when they found out he noticed that Rico was alive, he actually went and told her that she was there, and he was actually quite a brave guy, really, in terms of like rushing into like the battles and eventually getting his brain sucked out. And I don't know, I think like he maybe wasn't as bad a guy as he was originally made out to be. I think we're maybe just meant to see him as the bad guy because
because he's like,
I felt like he actually had quite an important part in the story.
Yeah, because he's like a bit of a ball bag in the football game, and then he's obviously like Rico's like love rival. But then over the course, like you're saying, he does kind of show a bit better. Even when he's getting his brains, about to get his brains sucked out, he passes a knife to Carmen rather than use it himself.
He's got a wee bit of like empathy and a wee bit of humanity about him. So I think I'm pleased with that choice. I was going to go for a really obvious one, but then I tried to do one that was a bit different. So.
What about you, Jamesy boy?
I probably drawn towards Dizzy, to be honest with you. I think she's my favourite character in the whole film. I think when you're first introduced to her, in this classroom, you could tell she's obviously got a thing for Rico, and that she's obviously always in the background. But I think deep down she's quite sweet. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what she is. Signed up to the mobile infantry because, to that specific regiment as well. Do you know what I mean? To be with Rico, and just kind of like, I don't know, maybe he's kind of guardian angel or something like that, because then she does the death scene with her was, I got her. So I did I did like her as a character. I know that you said, Colin, that Xander was quite brave in that, but I think that Dizzy was brave. She was also, a bit of a badass as well. I mean, to stand up to Big Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown, is that his name? Big,
From
Yep.
Ahsoka.
from Ahsoka, from Lost as
From
well.
Dexter.
From Dexter.
Who was it Lost? Who was it Lost again?
He was the Desmond's partner in the hatch. To take the numbers
Oh
in.
yeah. We talked about that. Yeah, I remember now.
I'm starting to think you're not a Lost fan, as you say here.
I am a Lost fan.
So, I think Dizzy for me. Just I think that she's brave and sweet. I don't think she was trying to steal Rico, or was she? Possibly, I don't know. But
Aye, she was. Yeah. Well,
she did say to him at the dance that why couldn't we be together? I don't think that was her stealing them.
you're blinkered by your love for the character.
Possibly. Aye. So Dizzy for me. Paul, who's yours?
I was just kind of going to go. I was going to go for the obvious, just because it's not a good arc. It's more of a bad arc for Rico. Because at the start, it's kind of like, I don't really know what a citizen is. A dummy blinded by love, and then the more it goes on, the worse things happen to him. Like, it starts off quite like empathetic in it and like caring, like for when his trooper, he gets his teammate killed during training. Like, you can tell he's like gutted by it, but then when he's actually on the front lines, and he's getting these battlefield promotions because other troopers are dying, he seems like dead pleased with himself. Like when the corporal, Amanda's woken up. When the corporal gets like her arm melted off, and he gets the job as corporal, he's like cheesing away to himself as if he's like done something. And then when the sergeant gets killed by the flying bug, he gets the sergeant role, and he's like, again, pleased with himself. At the end of the film, he's just like a cog in a military machine. He's just lost his kind of his ideals that he started off with. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Rico, because like at the end up he's just like he's part of the propaganda machine. He's in the final kind of reel.
Is there a link, do you think, to the brain bug sucking the brains at the soldiers, and then the actual characters like Rico getting their brains sucked out by the propaganda? Is that something that's maybe kind of mirrored? I don't know. Just thought about it there actually.
Very well could be. Hey, Colin, was there anything you didn't like?
Right, this is a wee bit of a repetition from the Ahsoka review. However, we see so many characters get killed, lose limbs, but I always forget Denise Richards' character's name. Like, I've forgotten most of the characters' names. Carmen gets run through, and 2 seconds later, she's up running about, firing guns, whereas Dizzy had like basically died and right away almost. How was she able to run about shooting guns and being a superhero when she should have been on the deck needing attention?
Because she had some thick old plot armor. That's why.
I didn't like that bit.
It's because she didn't get hit in any right organs. She just got a wee one through the shoulder. Dizzy got one right through the middle.
Fair enough if she didn't die, but she was just running about all action, like straight afterwards. Like, and then at the end, she walks out and she's making it out like she'd been. I didn't like her character. I don't think you're meant to like her character because she's not that great a person.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I thought the end was a bit weird, right enough, when all three of them are together and they're all happy, smiley. It's like their pals have just like died and just things like that. There was a couple of bits that got me in the film right enough, because it kept annoying me that the spaceships kept flying so low that they were going to get hit by the blue light, and then they're flying so tight together that they're going to crash into each other. It was like, why don't they just fly a bit higher? There was that. I think when the bridge like gets hit and it like goes up in flames. I'm like, why are they not dead? I don't get that bit. I don't understand why that bit's in there. Because there's an explosion in the bridge, and I'm like, so did like the cockpit blow up but they're still alive? What else was there? There's a scene where Barney, not Barney, Neil Patrick Harris,
Carl.
he's doing a newsreel saying how if you shoot off a limb, you're like still like 88% effective. So you need to aim for the nerve stem, and he shoots it and it dies like straight away. And then when he goes to the main battle in Clondathu, there's like squads of soldiers and they're taking ages to kill like one bug. So I just feel like maybe if the newsreel had came after the Clondathu fight, then that would have made more sense, because it felt as if like Neil Patrick Harris could kill one dead easy. Why aren't the troopers killing them dead easy? So I think if it showed the battle first and then the newsreel, then you may have understood it a bit more. You know what I mean? It just felt a bit silly the way around it was.
No, I agree with you. Definitely not, but because I remember the scene where they just took ages to kill that one bug, and it's like, shouldn't you be taking advice and be killing this straight away, essentially?
Yeah.
What annoyed me is the end, the theatre at the end. It was like all happy. It's like they came out of school again. Do you know what I mean? And they're going into the actual academy. It's like, and they've slowly enough to each other again, but they actually did. But what annoyed me probably most thing, it's probably now the fact that I've watched it again, is where is the evidence that asteroid came from Clondathu? How did Earth know that the bug sent that and killed and destroyed Buenos Aires? It was just assumed, oh, these bugs sent this asteroid and it killed all these people. And it's like, we're going to war now. And it's like, nah, where's the evidence in that? And how long would it have took for that asteroid to have been sent from that planet to Earth? Should have not seen it.
Yeah, because they're like opposite ends of like the two galaxies are like it shows you a map and it's like one edge of the screen to the other edge of the screen, and they're different galaxies. Like, how would the bug be able to pinpoint an asteroid a bazillion miles, light years, whatever it is, across these galaxies to hit this one planet? There's no chance.
And when was this set again? 2000 and what, Colin?
2197.
Well, how come then, right, in Armageddon, that they see the asteroid coming from him, and then they got Bruce Willis to jump on the asteroid and destroy it? There's a loads of issues with that.
But have you seen the apparently there's a conspiracy theory, but I think it's been debunked. But the conspiracy theory was that it was a false flag operation, that they just used the asteroid as an excuse to invade, because I think in the opening newsreel it shows Earth has orbital defences against asteroids. Okay. And it's like, so why didn't this one get destroyed by the orbital defences if it was so big and like they could detect it from so far away?
You guys need to go more.
Hey. It's one of these things that corrupts us. It's like, it shows you unusual at the start, like they can destroy these things easy, so why didn't they?
There's all sorts going wrong there. I just don't know. But even then, how did they know it came from that planet? Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest, it could have came from anywhere.
And how does it come from the planet?
I know.
It just does, right? I've already made 2 Star Wars references in this episode as part of my contract, but I've got a third one. You remember in A New Hope, spoilers, when Luke discovers that, or it's just not long after Luke's aunt and uncle are killed, and then Obi-Wan wants to take him on an adventure to be a Jedi. And Leia's seen her home planet get destroyed, and she just kind of carries on. Do you not think Rico didn't seem to care that much that his parents had died?
Oh, I think he did. I think that's why he kind of re-enlisted.
I know, but he wasn't sad at any point. He was just I
think he was just mad.
I just thought he could have shown a bit more emotion for the fact he'd lost both his parents in that scene.
I didn't really find any issue with that, to be honest.
No,
I think it was just more like
that was jarring to me that he didn't actually. There wasn't even a scene of him like having.
I was more sad about the dead dog in the rubble.
No, sorry, we've seen that. I didn't like that at all.
The only other thing I didn't like was I didn't really like Rico and Dizzy's relationship. I felt like I don't know, it just feels like he didn't really like her that. Do you know how like he said I love you to Denise Richards and she didn't say it back. Like, he did the same thing to her later on. Like she said I love you and then he ignored her. And I don't know, it felt like it happened quite quickly because one of his officer superiors was just like, "Oh, don't let go of a good thing that's in front of you" or something like that. I just didn't think he showed much interest at all, like prior to that.
And then they did the deed, and she's deed the next day.
That scene was funny when they're in the room and he's like, "Who's that with you? Make it 20 minutes."
Yeah, 20 minutes.
I'll be done in 2.
I don't know. I didn't really buy their relationship because I feel like it was really one-sided and that he didn't actually care that much. I think he just liked her as a friend most of the time, I would say. I don't think he was in love with her, maybe.
Would you have said that though the relationship with him and Carmen was one-sided though? Because I got that impression.
Yeah,
I don't think she was really into him.
I think if Carmen hadn't blown him off, I don't think he would have given her the time of day.
No, I know that. That's true. But I think he's realised that probably Carmen isn't that nice a person. No, totally. I don't think, but I think he has started to realise. Well, that's my.
She's just a career person, isn't she?
Yeah.
Aye.
Hey, what was your favourite scenes in the movie? Or favourite scene? James.
Oh, okay. Favourite scene. You've got me, man. Favourite scene. I've probably 2, possibly. I like the bit where at the end they get their brain sucked out. I thought I was like, oh, that's pretty gruesome, man. That's so that was one. That's a favourite scene, but it was like one that got me a wee bit. I was like, oof. I watched that when I was 14. I can't really remember it, to be fair. Another one, I don't know. I like there's quite a few. The scene where there's actually is it a castle or something? I can't remember on the top of my head where it is. But they're shooting the bugs off it, and that's the scene where Michael Ironside dies.
No, at the outpost on Planet P.
Outpost, and he's like, "You know what I do? Do it." And you had to shoot him, man. That was quite gutting.
And that was foreshadowed before as well, wasn't it?
That's true. So I like that whole scene because you can see them, like there's hardly any bugs coming through, and then there's you looked up again and they all just came swarming in. Between that scene's good as well, but one before that, I think it was before that, is where the Rico jumped up on the big bug and put the bomb inside it, and it just blew up.
Oh yeah, the tanker bug.
Oh, the nuke, it just blew up. So that was decent.
Very nice. What about you, Colin?
I don't know if favourite's the right word, but when Dizzy like takes out the bug and she's all triumphant, and then she just gets ripped through. That's certainly a memorable sequence.
I didn't like that scene.
Nazi Barney's having a bit of a weird one tonight.
Well, James just said he liked the bit where people are getting. Well, a lot of the film's pretty brutal, to be fair.
True, he did say the bit where Michael Ironside gets his legs cut off. He did enjoy that
bit. So Michael Ironside had his legs cut off and his arms cut off in 2 different movies.
I think the deaths and the violence it looked really real. I thought, like when people lost like their limbs and stuff, like you know that scene when the end of the first kind of big battle and there's just like 100 of them on like tables getting like treatment and stuff like that. It's quite harrowing, I would say.
Aye.
Aye, well, that's what Verhoeven's really kind of known for. Well, he's got a reputation for like kind of hyper violence, just everything looking grim and absolutely brutal.
I didn't think, like, and from the outset, I didn't think this film was going to be as kind of graphic as it was in the end.
I know it's only a PG-12 to.
It's a 12. Aye. Okay, folks, sorry, I'm going to have to go here. Feeling a bit rubbish with the cold, so I've done my part, and my silent score is going to be 8 out of 10. Solid movie throughout, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay.
No worries,
See you
James.
later, folks.
Hope you feel better
Yeah.
soon. Thanks, bud.
See you later. Yep. Are you pleased that I enjoyed it?
I am, because I was scared in case you're like the same as Scarlett, which absolutely hates it.
Did you think I'd hate it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd understand it just because it's like a lot of satire and that, and it's a bit kind of different from your normal run-of-the-mill movie. It's got quite a lot of unique.
Some of my favorite movies are all a bit satire, like the Cornetto trilogy, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Just need some quick cuts.
We've got plenty of Twitter comments.
Yeah. Do you want to run through some of them?
Share some of them. We had a really good response to this one. So it's obviously a movie that's highly regarded by the masses. So our good friend Chatsunami said that he saw it when it aired on ITV2 many years ago, and the rest is history. He loves this one. He loves it even more because I went to visit my co-host, and we binged the first 4 films in the name of research. Although, to be honest, some of them are better forgotten. That was interesting. I was going to ask you, but I've heard from someone.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I was talking to, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they said the sequels aren't worth watching.
Nah, the second one is just like, I don't know. The second one is horrendous. It's just like the guns are like laser guns now, and it's not got any of the original cast, and it's just very isolated. It's not a big kind of grandiose war movie like this one is. And somehow, the captain of the ship that blows up, she's somehow resurrected, and she's a trooper, a completely different trooper. She's just a different person completely.
Different character.
Yeah.
That's actually quite disappointing because I haven't watched Total Recall recently. I actually much preferred this. Sorry, James, but it's a universe. It's like a saga. I would have probably quite liked to watch more of because I did really enjoy it.
Because I think that just the further it goes down, the weirder the kind of concepts get, and then it just gets a bit. I don't know. It's just not as good as the original. It's not on the same scale, not the same budget. The second one's horrendous. Third one's it's got Rico's back in it, but sparingly, and it's a bit of a rubbish story. And then there's a lot of animated films as well. But some of them are not too bad.
And you said back to Chatsunami that you'd listened to both of their pods on that. He was very appreciative. He said it's a fascinating film to dive into, especially when you compare it to the book. Plus, he recommended a game to do with it that's fun too. So yeah, make sure you check out Chatsunami's podcast on Starship Troopers as well.
He read some of the book as well, so there's quite a lot of he does a lot of comparisons. Because I think Dizzy's actually a guy in the books.
Okay.
And doesn't make it past the opening kind of scene. So
a few
differences there.
Another one was we needed to know what you did. I'm assuming that's last summer. I can't see the end of it. It says, "Man, there's so much to love." Clancy Brown, Medic, Denise Richards, Justice for Dizzy, and I've only just learned it was based on a book from the 50s. Stu World Order, good friend of the channel, says it holds up amazingly well, and given just how perfectly it describes post 9/11 America, I am shocked it came out in 1997. So that was something we didn't talk about. Big Nick says his favorite part is just the entire thing. Honestly, thoroughly enjoyed it. And then, sorry, there's another bit on top of that. He says, also, some of the lines are so cheesy, they're great. Like when the redhead dies and her last words are, "At least I got to have you." Yeah, that was a bit cringy, I thought, as well. Dr. Damon, who is the author Haley McFarlane, a friend of ours, says, hands down, one of my favourite sci-fis alongside Galaxy Quest. I've not seen that, Paul. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. It's a comedy right enough. It's got like Sigourney
Aye.
Weaver and what's his face? Snape. I can't remember what his real name is.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman, aye. It's got Tim Allen and that. It's actually pretty good.
Is that on streaming anywhere?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
You should catch it.
That's fine. Tim the Libertarian says he loves Michael Ironside. James said he was looking forward to doing the review. And Taproom Tabby said, super fun, lots of laughs that you'll miss if you don't pay attention. Underlying dark humor as well. And then a few emojis that came along with it.
I'm sure she mentioned ass and titties as well.
So thanks to everyone who got in touch there.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good that it's quite a lot of people love the film because, like you're saying, it was a commercial kind of stuff, and it wasn't really well received. I think a lot of people didn't understand what they were trying to go for, and they just thought it was like a dumb action movie. So it's good to see people enjoy it for like. Yeah, I would say, Colin, if you do watch it back, just kind of listen back to it and listen to the kind of underlying stuff in the actual imagery of the uniforms and stuff.
It's hard to take all that in the first watch because like you're just paying attention to so many other things.
Oh, I've probably seen this about a dozen times, and I've only just listened to actual what Michael Ironside's saying at the start because I've always just been watching Rico just drawing that wee stupid tablet.
Yeah, because that would have been you in class just drawing on the tablet.
Exactly. Except I can't draw. But after this, God, I can't even say this. I made up the name for this month. Out of This World October, Seismic Soccer number 2. Not decided what we're going to be doing yet, but keep a wee eye on it. I'm sure it'll be good because I really enjoyed the first Seismic Soccer, so we're looking forward to getting another one done. And Gary will be joining me this time.
And if anyone has any suggestions for topics or challenges we can do in this month's episode, you can let us know in the comments.
Yeah, so it's good to get a few ideas on the go and discuss it. I quite enjoyed that last one. It was that the Invincibles 11?
I don't think What's the Script liked it as much.
No, they're like invincible diehards, and like nothing could replace any of the Invincibles.
Also, we're trying to think of movies or shows we can review in November. So if you have any picks or if you want to come on and collaborate and join us, then we can do that too. Paul, one thing we forgot to do before we finish up was the seismic scores. So James gave us an 8. What would you give it out of 10?
I'm going to give it a 9 just because I feel like I've just got a lot of nostalgia for it. I just really love the action scene, love the music. I really enjoy the fight scenes and like the outpost scene and the drop. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 just because like it's not like the best movie that's ever been made. It's not like technically the best, but I just really love it just for what it is.
Yeah, I would give it what I'd written down was an 8.5. Took some points off for Carmen getting stabbed and the relationship that I didn't like and Rico not caring about his family, but I enjoyed it as a whole. I thought it was engaging. I thought there was good world building. I thought the characters were good and no surprises. I enjoyed the action in this film, I must admit, but I'm more there for the character relationships and the dialogue and things like that and the story. But I quite enjoyed the action in this one, and it's one I would definitely watch again. I've actually recommended it to a few folk already who haven't seen it, so yeah, I quite enjoyed it.
Good. Yeah, it's always good to get kind of different perspectives on it because, like, I love it for just the dumb action. You love it for the kind of interpersonal relationships and that. So yeah, it's good to get a few different perspectives on it.
Yeah. Right, well, that is for this week then.
I think so. Yep. So that's our Starship Troopers review, 1997. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've not been demented by my dogs too much. And hopefully I've edited all the parts where we've been having a few technical difficulties. So yeah, hope you've had fun, and thank you.
Would you like to know more? People from all over the globe are joining up to fight for the future. They're doing their part. Are you?